It's about growing you. It's about growing your perspective. It's about growing your trust in God. And so, letter A, God desires to build us. He wants to build us. And in verse number 9, when he says that we are laborers together with God, he continues to tie an agricultural metaphor to a building, architectural metaphor. And so he says, you are God's husbandry. You're his field that he wants to grow things in. Then he says, you are God's building. Now, before he says that, he says you are laborers together with God. This is where we get the word synergy from, synergios. It's talking about the joining together to be like-minded with God. God's inviting you into his work to partner with him. It's not that he cannot do it without us. He wants to do it through us, and he will find someone through which they are willing to do his work, but we are invited to have the opportunity to partner with him in eternal things. Henry Blackaby, a great author who just went to heaven, said this: God doesn't call us to accomplish our own work. He invites us into the work he is already doing and asks us to trust him to do what only he can do. And so we are his building. In fact, in verse 16 it says, know ye not, you are the temple of God. If you've received Jesus Christ, you've received his Spirit inside you. And it is the Spirit that dwells in you, verse 16 says. In fact, in the second book of Corinthians, 2 Corinthians 5, verse number 1, he says that we have this earthly house, this tabernacle that will be dissolved. There's a coming a moment where this building will decay. We are the building of God, he says. A house not made with hands is eternal in the heavens, meaning there's going to come a day where my house, this body, that's now a little bit more achy now that I'm in my 40s, okay? This body one day will dissolve. But there's going to come a day where I'll have a body that won't have aches and pains, that I'll have a body that is glorified, that I won't have the desires that I have, that I won't have the longings and lusts. I will tell you that there's going to come a day where all of those things are past, but now we struggle. Now we're a work in progress. How many of you know that? Now we're still letting God build us. And the problem that we have ultimately is that as we're going through this process of being built, it's easier for us to see the lack of progress in others than it is to see in our own selves. And so instead of focusing on how God is building us, guess what we do? We become the building inspectors for everyone else's growth. And we get out our clipboard and say, nah, well, at least I have that built. She's still working on that. And at least my kids don't, it's like, what are we doing? We're all a work in progress. It's like the guy in the third world country who was given a van. He didn't have all the money to fix it, and so he just started fixing it any way that he knew how. And so this is his daily routine of getting in his van. He has to use a magnet to open up the car door. So he opens up the door. He has to kick it to get it shut.